Hey everyone, Oscar here. One day I was scrolling on YouTube and I found this video on my For You page. It seemed like a pretty interesting video and it wasn't too long, so I watched it and I'm not gonna lie, it was kinda I know that may come off as a bit mean, but I feel like it got a lot of things wrong and it just really bothered me. So in today's video, I'll be debunking this take on Omori vs. Chara. But before the video starts, I have a couple disclaimers. Obviously, this video will contain major spoilers for Omori and the genocide route of Undertale, so go watch another video if you don't want to hear them. Secondly, and much more importantly, this video is not meant to harass or attack the original creator, Yojo Senpai, in any way, shape, or form. We can have fictional debates about our favorite characters without making it personal. But if you do want to check out his channel, I have a link to his video in the description. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the debunk.
Now, when it comes to the cosmology for Omori, we have the most important realm known as Headspace, which is noted to have solar systems, galaxies, and multiple stars housed inside it. Headspace is described as an entire universe with its own separate spacetime on multiple occasions. We also have the realm known as Black Space, a realm deeper inside Headspace whose main purpose is to hide Sunny's darkest memories in order to shield him from the guilt of his actions. In it, we see that it contains 18 to 20 doors that house small parts of Headspace inside them, meaning that they have multiple miniature spacetimes inside them, with one of them having a beach that most definitely has a sun residing in it. Overall, this would at lowest scale the cosmology to universal to at highest low multiversal.
This explanation of Omori's cosmology is extremely watered down, which is why this section is not even a minute long. Yojo also misses some vital parts of Headspace that I will talk about right now. First off is White Space, the first realm that Sunny created to conceal the truth and the origin of Headspace. Although it's not technically part of it, there are numerous doors inside that connect to the many worlds of Headspace. And speaking of, Headspace is where Omori and his friends usually hang out, a single realm created by the fusion of multiple universes. The realm is reset by Omori every time Sunny or his friends come close to discovering the truth, meaning that he should scale to or above Headspace, not to mention he scales to Sunny, who created the entire cosmology. And finally, there's Black Space, an infinitely big universe that serves as a direct counterpart to White Space. Like White Space, it also contains multiple doors that lead to different realms that are also infinitely big. These universes are also shown to have different time pacing, further proving these doors are their own spacetimes. I will say this section wasn't bad, and I actually agree with where Yojo scales Omori, but I just don't think his explanation of the cosmology was very detailed.
Moving on to Undertale, in this series we know that the existence of parallel universes does exist as confirmed by Alphys, the smartest character in the verse. Not only that, there exist multiple different timelines due to the concepts such as save, load, and reset. They act as normal gameplay features such as saving progress, loading that save, and resetting the game, but they also hold narrative purposes due to the concept of determination, which turns them from gameplay features to different branching timelines, which is backed up by both Sans and Fly the Flower, who are capable of remembering these events. Shout out to Instinct of Doom for this calc, as I'll link their video in the description below, but by purely using the PC version, you get over 20,000 different timelines for Undertale, and again, this is only noting the PC version, as the console version, such as Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox are also counted into this. You could even argue for an infinite amount of timelines using the fun value, which is a random number generator that goes from 1 to 100 when a reset occurs, allowing for rare events in the story to occur. All in all, this would scale the cosmology anywhere from multiversal to high multiversal.
First, it's important to understand how the save, load, and reset mechanics work in the cosmology. Save and load essentially allow its user to time travel, saving a certain moment in time and allowing them to go back to that point whenever they want. Reset is a similar mechanic, but instead of loading back into a certain point in the story, it causes them to start over and go back to the very beginning. Now, saving doesn't destroy the timeline, but instead it causes the timeline to branch at each load, and the user continues their life in the new loaded timeline. The old timeline still exists, but it becomes forever stopped in time. Sans supports this idea, with him saying he noticed timelines appearing out of nowhere and randomly stopping and starting. Resets do this too, but instead of causing a branching timeline, it wipes the main timeline while still leaving all its branches. One thing I want to point out are the fun values, which go from 1 to 100, and Yojo uses this to say that there are 100 timelines. However, a lot of the fun values cause the same events to happen, which, funnily enough, is shown in one of the images he used. For example, fun values 2 to 39 will cause the wrong number song to happen, while fun values 40 to 45 will cause Sans to call the player. Counting all the events caused by the fun values only brings the cosmology up to 14 timelines, including the main one, which would make the cosmology low multiversal. The Undertale cosmology video Yojo was talking about had some weird number like 21,000 timelines based on the fun values, which would be multiversal, but there's a much more solid argument for that range of power. Flowey states that he's abused the save, load, and reset mechanics so much that he's done everything this world has to offer, and he elaborates that this mainly refers to interactions with the monsters, among many other things. Keep in mind that the underground contains thousands of monsters, meaning that Flowey has created at least hundreds of thousands of timelines, if not many more. Flowey also suspects that Frisk has heard his speech hundreds of times already, and although this may seem hyperbolic at first glance, Flowey also says that he tried hundreds of times to convince Asgore to give him the 6 human souls. Again, not a bad section, but it has the same problems as the one before it.
In terms of speed, he should be in those MFTL plus to immeasurable speed tiers, seeing as he's able to combat Pluto, who once again was able to fly through multiple galaxies in a short time with little issue, crossing multiple light years in a matter of seconds, to immeasurable due in part that Omori controls headspace, which houses multiple spacetimes.
I think this is a really poor argument for immeasurable speed, as having space-time manipulation doesn't automatically scale your speed above time at all. However, you could still make an argument for Omori having immeasurable speed from white space. It's theorized that white space has no time since the laptop doesn't display it, and the days on the calendar are also not numbered, although you could chalk this down to the laptop being broken in some way, and Omori losing track of time in white space. It's also just a theory and is never officially confirmed in-game.
In terms of hacks and abilities, Omori has access to stats amplification, stats reduction, emotion manipulation, existence erasure, precognition, immortality, enhanced senses, extrasensory perception, regeneration, regeneration negation, fate manipulation, void manipulation, memory manipulation, non-physical interaction, reality warping, power nullification, corruption, durability negation, summoning, teleportation, and sealing.
I never understood why people think Omori has existence erasure, because the erase attack doesn't actually erase its enemies. Sure, it deals a lot of damage, but it only brings Sunny to half health. If it actually was existence erasure, then Omori would have killed Sunny the moment he used it, and the game would end right there. I also couldn't find anything about power nullification in the links I found in Yojo's Google Doc in his video description. I also put that Google Doc in the description of this video for convenience. Other than my 2 complaints though, everything else is fine about this part.
Now, some may argue that this would mean that Chara scales to their own cosmology. However, Chara can only do this one at a time, so destroying multiple timelines is more so an overtime thing rather than all at once.
I've heard some people say that Chara doesn't scale to the entire Undertale cosmology, so this is an understandable misconception, but there's a lot of evidence that suggests otherwise. Firstly, after Chara uses the erase attack, the game closes, and all the files in the Undertale folder get deleted as well. In fact, Toby Fox originally planned for Chara's erase attack to delete the game as a whole, which further proves Chara destroyed the entire cosmology. Chara is also able to recreate Undertale's cosmology after making a deal with the player, which also brings back all the files in the Undertale folder. Secondly, in the case where the genocide route is completed multiple times, Chara tells the player, should you choose to create this world once more, another path would be better suited. These paths are most likely the different routes you can take in the game, and Chara also seems to be referring to the game in its entirety as the world. And lastly, Sans states that timelines are stopping and starting randomly until suddenly, everything ends, which is heavily implied to foreshadow the erase attack that happens not long after the boss fight. I'm glad that Yojo is willing to admit that he could have been wrong about that, but yes, Chara should scale to the entire Undertale cosmology.
Even better than that, depending on the interpretation of the slash feed, we can further bolster their speed to either infinite or immeasurable, seeing as they completely destroy the entire timeline or the entire cosmology.
Again, destroying or manipulating space-time does not automatically give you immeasurable speed, but funnily enough, just like Omori, you can make an argument for Chara having immeasurable speed as well, although it's more solid than Omori's immeasurable scaling. Frisk is able to dodge Azrael's Hypergoner, which he says will purge the timeline, one of the definitions of purge being to destroy something. The Japanese localization backs this up, as in this version, this sentence directly translates to "I will destroy this timeline." Considering how involved Toby Fox was in the Japanese localization, this further backs up the fact that Azrael's Hypergoner destroyed the entire timeline. So from chain scaling to the Hypergoner, which sucked up and destroyed an entire timeline, Chara should have immeasurable speed.
When it comes to hacks and abilities, Chara has access to time manipulation, reality warping, existence erasure, plot manipulation, information manipulation, acausality negation, possession, fear manipulation, resurrection, soul manipulation, immortality, extrasensory perception, and soul absorption.
I'm not completely sure where Yojo got most of these abilities from, but I assume most of these hacks abilities are from the Erase attack, which in my opinion should have just been labeled as existence erasure. Does it do all this crazy stuff in the game? In a way, it does, but this could have all been just simplified as existence erasure or something along those lines. Besides that, this part is fine as well.
So when it comes down to it, who wins and why did I say that this matchup was much more interesting than we thought? In terms of stats, it's argued that the two are dead even, both being in those cosmic levels of destruction while being insanely fast in their respective verse, even though you can argue that Omori has the better lower end speed feats.
When comparing their stats, it's not even relatively close. Using Yojo's low ends, Omori can speed blitz Chara, but that doesn't mean anything if he can't even hurt her. Wait, I'm sorry, wait, no, I can't breathe. And using his high ends, they may have equal speed, but Chara is still one-shotting Omori, which is arguably even worse. In terms of just stats, Chara is the winner here by a long shot.
Speaking of determination, this goes into my next point of the save points we see in Undertale used by Frisk and Chara. These aren't physical objects at all and are simply metaphysical anchors to reality through high levels of determination, which is ultimately why a character like Sans, who was able to detect timeline irregularities, doesn't just straight up destroy the save point, because he quite literally can't. So when thinking of it that way, this fight would just be an overall stalemate, as neither side can kill or permanently kill the other, no matter how hard they try.
This is also extremely false. I'm not sure if Yojo forgot about the Erase attack or what, but it would definitely be more than enough to bypass Omori's determination and give Chara the easy win.
However, if you do disagree with this thought process and do believe that Omori has attack potency with this fight being real, it would ultimately still be a stalemate, as Omori could kill Chara over and over again, but due to their determination, they'd always come back. Even with existence erasure on his side, he'd need to erase determination as a concept to fully put down Chara, which he simply doesn't have the skills to do so. Meanwhile, boss fight Omori has also shown his own version of determination by simply just refusing to succumb, even while on 1 HP, unlike his player counterpart, who can survive one fatal attack before finally dying.
If Omori actually had existence erasure, he could put down Chara since their soul would be destroyed as well, and that wouldn't require him to erase the concept of determination or anything like that. But as I said earlier, he doesn't really have an answer to Chara's own erase attack. Overall, this video didn't do the greatest job of portraying both characters, especially Omori, and although I appreciate Yojo's attempt to make this matchup look debatable, it really is not. I also think that the video would be better structured if he combined the cosmology and stats segments. However, that's not to say it was all bad. He got a lot of stuff right, and it's clear that he did some research on both of these characters and is quite familiar with both of them. In conclusion, I'd probably give this video a 6 out of 10. And Yojo, if you're watching this video, don't take anything I said personally. If I were you, I would use this opportunity to learn from my mistakes and improve my future videos. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this debunk, please consider clicking that subscribe button and turning on all notifications. Make sure to like this video if you want to see more debunks in the future just like this one. Tell me in the comments if you like Omori vs Chara as a matchup. If you do, why? If you don't, why not? I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Also, make sure to join my Discord server by checking out the link in the description. And finally, let me remind you again that this video is not meant to attack or harass Yojo Senpai. Like I said earlier, we can have fictional debates about our favorite characters without making it personal. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Goodbye.